welcome back to the channel. Sorry you guys, December is just getting away, isn't it? I've been waiting for this rune chapter to start. As I said, I would do the runes with you guys, and of course these things have a mind of their own. I think I shared with you, we are going to start the runes today, but I think I shared with some of you when I began studying the runes, all my oracle and tarot cards went silent for a year. So there is like a voice that speaks through the runes that I hope that I can help to open the gateway to for you as we travel along. There's lots of books you can get on the runes. You can look them up online. My suggestion is that you work with them one at a time, and that you meditate with them and like write them on paper, and we'll do some exercises along this journey. Today is Fehu. Fehu is the beginning. I am recording this on 12/12. I am looking for the rune here. I've got a couple of sets. I hope to get some personalized at some point on this journey. So Fehu, guys, this is the first rune. The runes are part of what is just an alphabet originally in the Scandinavian countries, and Fehu was the beginning, and also stands for Freya, which is a Viking goddess of sexuality. So that energy of creation, wild creation, is within this rune as it begins and starts the rest of the 3 futhraks. So there's 24, and there's 8 in each futhrak. So they are stages of development of human into like a God being or most realized being. So Fehu is going to be, the beginning. And it was also seen as cattle originally, which would also be like your wealth or your property, like where you're put in the world, like where you've landed, that beginning spot. For me, interestingly enough, I have this, it's like a mess where I'm sitting because I'm doing a lot of shipping stuff, but I don't know if you can see out. It's kind of like a farm-like setting here where I am, and there actually are cows down below there, and the river is down over there. Anyway, as I sit on this property, I actually think this represents Fehu a lot, like my ability to be here. Now you see the shipping department here. For those of you who don't know, I'm working with Midnight Fluorite on Instagram, IG, live sales, and we do sell crystals. Danny is the lapidary, and we do Instagram lives, usually Friday and Saturday, but right now they're kind of sporadic for the holidays, every other night. We did one last night, and anyway, shipping. I'm part of helping ship stuff out and doing some tarot readings and rune readings and stuff on the live. So there is a link down below, you can check it out. But so anyway, back to Fehu. The land, the property, the beginning, the cattle. Cattle was like money back in the day, right? Like you're like a 2-cow wife or a 5-cow wife or whatever, there was a sense of wealth inherent in the cow or the cattle, and you'll see this carries on into the second rune as well, which we won't get to today. But Fehu, and did I set it down? Yeah. Fehu is something, it looks kind of like an F with the lines shooting upward to the heavens, right? To the gods. I would encourage you to write this down, and we're going to do a little meditation. You can even imagine that symbol over your third eye. And I connect this to the root chakra, since it is like your home or your wealth or your abundance, the beginning, which would correlate with the first chakra, right? So in this, just like imagine breathing this symbol in. The thing about the runes is they're not just an alphabet and they're not just symbolic. They've long been used as magic, like magical spells. And there's a thing called rune binding where you can, put runes together, draw them together, attach them together, put them on things, and it works like magic. There's enough collective unconscious energy toward these things. They actually are imbued with a magical quality. So this is a good symbol to even put like on, nobody really has checkbooks anymore, right? But like on your wallet or on a paper that you put in your wallet, or like, I don't know how else you could put it on your bank account or where your cards are. But it is thought to attract and enhance wealth and abundance. And there is something about keeping a freshness to life that Fehu represents. And you could even think Fehu, freshness, forwarding a new reality, a new beginning. There's something starting or beginning with Fehu. So if you are getting a rune reading or you're pulling a rune and you happen upon Fehu, or you're finding this video today, there is a message for you from Fehu. You might ask yourself, how are my finances? Like, part of the beginning, the cattle, the grounding, the abundance is always correlated with, do you have gratitude? Interestingly enough, the end of the third, fourth rec is Otella. Sometimes people put Otella at the beginning and leave Dagas at the end, but Otella is ancestral inheritance. It's family inheritance. It's the end of the journey, but it's also the beginning. So your wealth is also coming from somehow your inheritance, like what you have learned through your family line, through growing up, through exposure to the people around you and their dealings with money, and how they begin. Are they able to endure, right? So there is something about the wealth here that does come through an inheritance of some sort. Now, we don't really see it maybe manifesting in that way, or you passing it along till we get to the end of the third, fourth rec, the Otella symbol. But they are intimately tied, so I wanted to bring that up when just thinking about, and this is a big thing in this day and age especially, and maybe with a lot of you who watch my videos, that might feel like a black sheep in your family, or might feel like you've done things differently than those around you. And that actually makes you unique and special, and also important for the healing of your generational line. Usually there's a black sheep because there needs to be some adjustments or alignments to take place within the generational line, and so a special soul is brought in who can kind of disrupt the pattern a little bit. But that's not to say there's not a wealth there still, that there's not some good things as well that come through the family line. This is, and what I was starting to say is, this is where the struggle is real sometimes, and a lot of us have to break away from our families for a while. I know I did. My family and I had a break of about 7 years, and it was an intense silence between us, and it allowed me a cultivation time of who I am, who I'm here to be, what I am outside of that. But there's something about when you really begin, and there's going to be many beginnings and endings in life, right? Life is full of beginnings and endings, but there comes a time, and I think the runes come to us at a time when we're ready to be conscious of the patterns of behavior that we are perpetuating or that we're living within. And so this represents a wealthy beginning. Like, you get to turn around and take the abundance of knowledge, wisdom, experiences. And it's like the universe gives you a land, a realm within which to now live the initiations of the 3/4 rucks, which we're going to go through together. So to live these aspects of the journey consciously is different than unconsciously, right? And maybe you never thought about that before, but you can have a lot of beginnings and not really be fully present in the beginning and appreciative of the beginning. And beginnings are always inherently carrying some of the endings, and the endings can be painful, they can be heavy. I think that's why the cattle is also symbolic of wealth. There's a heaviness, there's a responsibility, right? There's even a danger. Maybe there's been some loss in the past that makes this wealth special or important, pivotal even. So in this beginning that we are experiencing together, and on this 12/12, the day that I'm recording it, I find it significant because we are in what I call the death gates, the gateways to solstice, from All Souls Day, like Hallows Eve time, to the winter solstice is this descent into the underworld, so to speak, where we get to the longest nights of the year. Of course, we're in the northern hemisphere talking about this, but that's where I'm at. So you have to translate it if you're not here. So during this time, there is a releasing, there is a shedding, just like the leaves shed from the trees and the plants, like, die and go into the soil, and a lot of animals are hibernating. There is a part of our psyche that's doing that as well. So for Fehu to emerge today on the 12/12, and 12s are significant numbers numerologically, often meaning an ending, like 12 months in the year, you get to the 12. There's a lot of symbology around 12 disciples, and then the one. So there is something about a completeness with the 12. You actually have 12 ventricles in the brain that surround the pineal gland. And in meditation and in surrender, they actually fold to look like they're bowing down, right? So there is something about this day that can offer some humility if we take it, to notice where the new beginnings have initiated, and to take stock and take ownership and claim the new beginning and the abundance of the universe is just going like this to you about. And it might not be in its totality yet. It might still be in its infancy, because we are just at the first Futhrak, right? We're at the beginning. In the tarot, this is the equivalent of the Fool's card. We're at the beginning of a journey. This is like Aries energy. We're initiating something new. This would be equivalent to any point in your reality that you consider a new beginning. Okay? And because we're preceding the solstice a little bit with this gateway, that's why I wanted to bring in this idea of endings and beginnings overlapping, because we are getting to an ending of the days getting shorter here in about 9 days from this recording. And whenever you're watching this energy is applicable. It's just you might not be experiencing it at the exact same moment that I am while I'm recording it, or those who are watching it on the day of are. So, Fehu, until we get to the next rune, I just, encourage you to write it down, maybe meditate on it, or carve it into some stick, or however you feel to play with this energy of Fehu. And really, it will speak to you. You can look it up. You can, I originally was reading up on all the runes, but then eventually you just kind of have to sink into, what does this mean for me? What is the significance of this for me? And what is this speaking to right now in my money, in my home? Where am I beginning? Where is the cattle fat, or wanting to get fat, like the resources? This is saying okay, it's almost like the universe going, okay, here's all the resources. that you have, and it's beginning, so it's not in completion. We're not to Jira, the harvest, which is much later. We're not to some of the trials that we're going to have yet, with like Hagalas and Natalas, later runes, even Thor's hammer, Thorisas is a challenge card or a challenge rune. But at the beginning, there is an inherent nature to beginnings that not only do they carry some of the ending, but they carry, and I kind of think of that as the short and the long line. They carry some of the ending, and then it goes beyond that. The story is going to go beyond what the last story was. This is a new journey of consciousness. It's a new journey in your reality, starting whenever you're watching this, at this time period, this point in your life. So opening yourself up to be conscious of the resources the universe has gifted to you right now. And then the story is what you're going to do with the resources, how that's going to play out. And we'll explore that as we go through each of the runes. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you want to have a rune reading of your own, I usually pull 5 runes for a rune reading and look at the past influences, present, future possibilities, the blessing, and what you have to put up with, kind of energy around what's going on for you. And the nice thing is a rune, when you pull it, like that's the vibe in the atmosphere. If you can tune in, like that is a prominent energy in your environment. And why I have to do the videos this way, because it has to be the time to do it. And I've been like thinking for like, really today is the 12th, for almost 12 days. I've been like, okay, it's time to do the beginning one, right? But that's not how the universe or universal time works. It works when that timing clock shifts. So that means certain things have to end or get close to ending or be brought up in conversation, right, in our reality, for the energies to change enough for the new beginning to be initiated. And the more we're carrying the old stories and exhausting them and amplifying them, the further the Fehu gets away from us. But anyone participating in the reality, contributing to the transformation of that conversation, is helping to birth the new beginning. Does that make sense? So if you're telling the same story over and over and you're not seeing it to a close, and you're not beginning to think of the new story and how it could be different, you're kind of blocking the birthing of this. But you can't, you're birthing a new beginning that might look very much like the old one, unless you have assistance in changing that either internally or externally, something else vibing in your environment. So be open to the new beginning, be open to the new journey. The best attitude to have, I think, is like curiosity and excitement. Sure, we could experience some difficulties along the way, but the mindset we go into the new beginning, it's like, what are you going to name the cow? Like, if you really want to sink into the experience, name the property, name the time period, set a tone or an intention that can carry into this new beginning. And even like, naming your bank account, Fehu, or universal blessings, or, whatever you can name it to that is starting to resonate at the frequency you're going toward, is maybe a good idea. Okay, I hope that is helpful. I look forward to chatting more. We're going to do a little bit more shadow work talk before we get to the solstice. And this is just sporadic right now, so we'll see how the timing goes for the runes. But I hope you'll follow along. So if you haven't subscribed already, click the notification bell so you get all the notifications for new videos, so you know when we're doing the next one, which is Uruz. And it does carry on the theme of the cattle. We'll talk about that more next time. Otherwise, have a beautiful day. I love you. You got this. And namaste. Reach out if you'd like a private session. Thanks. Okay, also we have the crystal that's been blessed on all the death gate portals, the gateways to solstice. It was washed in the Pacific Ocean on the 11/1. It was washed in the river here, the Jordan River here, on the 11/11. On the 11/22, it was anointed with a blessed sandalwood oil and to assist in opening higher wisdom. And here we are in the 12/12. We are blessing it with the Fehu, the energy of new beginnings and abundance. That's going into this. I'm going to leave it to charge from today into the full moon, which is coming in 2 days hence. So this will have that full moon, Gemini, Sun in Sagittarius energy to begin as we move toward the solstice, which is also an ending. So exciting! I can't wait to see who gets this crystal. If you think it's calling to you, then let me know. All right, love you.